Don does manage to peek away.
That's gonna be the doggy out.
There is one
Two
chain.
chains too.
That's gonna be our guess. That's
Okay,
out.
he smells him out.
I
And
realize
goes
this.
there. And a good Kraken will steal the Oni Fury.
I don't think so. Popping on it.
He steals it with the Nesha.
Steals it.
And Kappa just
Dookie's in trouble. The heart bomb.
He is in trouble, but good job there by Cowboy Chad.
No!
He can't do that. But oh, Skipper
But he
trying
can't-
to go after it.
He can't win the auto.
No tilting. You're all just pumped up, ready for game number 2. Y'all talking to each other.
But this Phoenix under siege. Phoenix is at half. Jovek taken out. Sexton Cannon taken out by Chernobog.
Haley, you still don't win that fight. No.
And that means they're leaving this Yamoja up that Breezy played in game 1, which I thought looked really good. I think he pilots it very well.
Yeah, 2 halves. There you go. We got those 2 brain cells. We can talk about 2 different things now. Well, we working on.
And Zero Easy Does It is going to be focused on, and we're going to see a quadra kill.
And he looks like he's gonna go down. Haley did use the ult already?
No! The impale! He's insane!
And now, Juan's gonna be subject to the Rama ults, both on target. What a great snipe.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Reap Smite League's Season 5 draft. I'm joined here by the wonderful, the eloquent, Eon. Eon, how are you feeling right now?
I am feeling great, Muffin. It is a very exciting day for everyone who's drafting, who's getting drafted, who's just watching the league. It's going to be a very exciting day. As just I said, I'm really happy to be here accompanying you in this momentous occasion.
Alright, well let's not waste any time. Let's get directly into it. Right here, live, we are going to be determining the draft order for you guys. And if you're wondering, real quick, the people who are in parentheses, those are going to be who are drafting for these captains. So Raven and Vibe Legion had something come up. They weren't able to make it. So we have Son of Two Dog drafting for him, and Zip Zap drafting for him as well. So they'll be in their steed drafting them. And let's just get right into it with the first one.
And we have Average Opportunist at the first pick.
Opportunist.
All right, well, we see the glitter. Yeah, just a little bit of sparkle. Make sure he's happy to have first place. Yeah, it's all fancy, you know. We upped our budget for this season. As you can see, we added sparkles, we added confetti. It's great. It's wonderful.
So Average will be having the first pick of the Reap Smite League draft. Oh wait, I forgot to remember. Very professional of me. And we're gonna move on directly to the. Oh wait, this is. I have to do this. We're gonna move on directly to the next. To the next pick right here.
And we're going to be having.
Oh.
It's
gonna be Shadow. All right, that's my boy right there. Shadow Demon will be coming in with the second pick of the Smite League draft. And let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the third pick.
I'm calling Vibe. This is gonna be Vibe. I'm feeling it. This is going to be
Vibe?
I'm calling Vibe. Yo!
Oh!
I got it. I swear this is not rigged, guys. I actually got it.
All right, Vibe. Will be getting the next pick of the Reap Smite Season 5 draft. And we're going to be good. Continue on. Keep going.
Who we calling?
Oh, Papa Nike. Oh, I'm wrong. Not even close.
Unfortunate, but it's instead going to be Commodity. Come with the 5th place. Not place, 5th pick.
In case you do not recognize him, you might know him as Valiance from earlier season. He's going to be coming in hot with gifts this season from his own claims. So be excited and keep going. We're just going to keep going with it.
And the third pick
is there he is.
The MVP himself, Poppin' Nike.
Poppin' Nike coming in here with the 5th pick, I believe. And who's it gonna be? Bearded or Zip Zap? This is just a coin flip here.
I'm feeling Zip Zap. I'm getting that
Zip
Zip Zap
Zap?
energy. I'm feeling Zip Zap.
Zip Zap? Alright, well, we'll just have. Oh,
And I think I
it's
am right
close, but I think
again.
you're right. I think you're right. It is gonna be Raven going in
Fifth pick.
the fifth pick, and we're just gonna spin it one last time.
Oh man, I know it's gonna be Bearded. I'm not sure, dude.
And
Could be anyone.
Bearded will be the final pick of the SDL draft here. Not to worry. Having the first pick and the last pick isn't necessarily all that important. It's just some strategy here. You know, it's not a snake draft. You gotta remember it's a bid draft.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Just like Muffin said, you might not have the first pick, but you can still end up with the first player based on the way that the draft would be going if you end up bidding more than the first player that actually put up the player. So it's definitely going to be interesting to watch to see how this draft goes. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting show. That's 100% for sure.
And now that we've gotten the draft order down, we're going to give our captains a little bit of time to strategize here. So we're going to go into a quick intermission here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. All right, everybody. Like I said, it was not going to take long, and we're going to get directly into this draft. As you can see, we had a quick practice round to make sure that everyone kind of got what was going on. And speaking of what's going on, let's talk a little bit about our draft, because it's a little bit unique from other leagues. Our draft is actually a bid draft with a snake twist on it. So the earlier draft order was to decide who gets to put up their nomination first. And the person that gets to put up their nomination first, well, they're going to put $50, or 50, as we called it last
Or
season,
100.
banana dollars. Put down 50 banana dollars, all right? And then people are going
I
to
would just like to
bid
say,
in increments of 50 or 100 until they get up to either the timer running out or 900. And whoever has either the most or got to 500 or got to 900 first gets the player.
yep, as we said, and I think we're about to start right now as the first pick is going to be revealed to us very, very shortly. Average Opportunist has now 2 minutes to put up his first pick of player. And yeah, this is going to be interesting. First pick, it does have some name behind it. Being the first picked is definitely exciting to be any player for any player. And we're going to find out who ends up being the lucky one.
I mean,
Um,
there's
oh,
quite a few people. There's quite a few strategies. He's gonna go straight into Dom, and Dom's already at 100. Ooh, straight to 200 already. You know, going into it, and it looks like they really want Dom because he's at 300. You know, everybody knows Dom here. He's one of our casters. He did a lot of the stuff on our prospect games recently. So seeing him already go up to 400, he's a well-known name here in this server. Seeing these prices for him is not crazy for me. Although it is starting to become a little crazy. 600 off the bat. Oh my goodness. We got some people that want Dom around here, alright? We got Dom's got some fans around town. If he's first pick of the draft, off rip going for 650 here. And
it's still going.
700 on the first pick here. Now, Average Opportunist will have a little bit more money to play around with here, as he's got 2,000 banana dollars because he's a non-player captain. And non-player captains get 2,000 banana dollars, while player captains get only 1,600 banana dollars. But looks like Bearded's got him on his mind, and Bearded is going to take the first pick of the draft. 750 for Dom.
Definitely, honestly, I think it's a pretty good soul laner, if I do say so myself. Happened to be known around the league as the Immersolo Menace. And yeah, it's definitely interesting to see a high money player go up so quickly and with such a fight as well, especially for being someone who recently joined the league this season. Definitely shows that you can get really famous by just playing a bunch of prospects.
I agree 100%. I mean, that's the best way to get known is in-houses,
Yeah.
prospects. You know, if you're trying to get on a team and you're not drafted here, that's the first thing you should be doing.
I agree. Definitely in-house is a really good way to get your name known. And with second pick as well, we see Ted Listen start going for 50. Definitely a 150. Okay, it's still going up, but definitely a very solid support player going to 250. A 300 seems like people have been wanting Ted to listen to them, and he's at 350 right now. He's going up to 450, 500.
500 already.
Shadow's going up to 600. They're not 650. Okay, well, maybe we're going to break the previous record with 700.
700 straight into it.
And is this going to be it for Ted Listens? Definitely a really solid support choice. Although he has not been able to showcase his support in the prospect games that much, but it is known that his support is much better than the roles he actually played. And Ted Listens is indeed going to go to Shadow for 700. Yet another high price player. Just a lot of reap dollars just gone off. Just gone
I
off.
mean,
Just gone.
This is exactly what we saw last season. And these first rounds, these captains are throwing out all of their banana dollars to come in here. Now, granted, Shadow, once again, a non-player captain, so he has quite a few to go around. But, I mean, I'm a little worried here that we could see some really good players go for almost nothing later in this draft. I mean, we see Kid Who Sucks now coming in. Also, another really strong SDL player. And he's already proven his worth here. He's gone to 250, 450.
Oof.
Oh my goodness, Average Opportunist is driving up the price with a little bit of an illegal bid there. He went straight for an 150 more. You can only bid up to 100. Yeah,
he tried to play a quick one on us, but nope. Okay, well, it's still going up. It's at 500, 600, still going up. Average, calm down. You're gonna waste all your banana dollars.
Get the hint. Maybe Average is just driving up these prices.
Could be, but I think he's going to. Go ahead.
Oh! Papa Nike coming in there with the steal right before. Oh, it looks like they're gonna go right back to bidding. As Average clearly wants a piece of him.
It sure does. Another player already at 700 for being, I think the solo for Los Manitors last season. He did have a pretty strong showing, and he does indeed go to Average Opportunities, who's already got a second player. It's gonna feel good. If those two players are on his draft board, that's gonna feel pretty good.
I mean, that's what we're seeing early on in these drafts, man. I'm gonna be a little worried coming down here. I think we're gonna start to see some of the teams that held off a little bit here. Once we get into the mid game of this draft, are gonna have really strong drafts coming into it, and
Agreed.
continuing. Yeah.
Commodity about to put up his player. Excited to see who it is.
Now, I've seen Commodity in quite a few roles. What role do you think he's gonna be going into? With Noct coming up on the draft, it looks like not solo.
That's yeah.
And,
I have seen Commodity play every role except solo, so I would think that he's not gonna go solo. I've heard there's a bit of insider information that he's gonna go mid this season, but I don't know. You haven't heard from me, and we see Nocturnal like going for 700 already.
Oh my goodness.
750. Oh my
750,
goodness.
and to be honest,
when 800.
We saw him. Could he be the first 900? And
solo for
900. The first 900. I mean, Papa Nike's gonna get him in for 900, and to be honest, it's not. We saw him. We didn't see him much last season. He only played a little bit, and he only played jungle. But the season prior, he had looked like he was just on the cusp of becoming one of the best SDL solo laners. And so, honestly, I'm not surprised seeing him go for 900, as he's one of the players who's probably going to be a little better in the SDL.
Agreed, for sure. He definitely was one of the stronger solo laners in the SDL side, and unfortunately couldn't show off last season. But he's back, and he's come for 900 already, and he's might be back for the vengeance with that, competing for that top solo spot in the SDL.
I mean, 100%, and we're gonna see Alex for Tech coming up here. Alex for Tech, that name sounds familiar. Was he on what is that team's name? The winner of the SDL. Why can't I think of Bold Boxers? Was he a Bold Boxers player?
He was a Bold Boxers player. Yes, he did play in Los Manitors and then moved over to Bold Boxers at the end of the season. Definitely a really strong mid laner. Definitely a very good pick, as he's also a good flex pick as well, because I have seen him play ADC and different roles as well, and he's definitely a talented player. that already going up all the way to 700. Seems like Raven really wants to have him on his team. And Poppy Nike already having spent a 900 on Nocturnal, like doesn't have that many V-Bucks to just spare for anyone. And it seems that Zip Zap is going to get Alex for 700.
I mean,
How do you feel about this?
Alex, so he was a strong player. I didn't fully remember exactly what he was at the start, but he's kind of coming back to me now, and I do remember him being very strong and very solid in his position. So I'm not surprised that he's going for this much already. And to be honest, I'm not surprised a lot of people are getting the big guns out of the way. It seems like that's what happens in a lot of these drafts. It seems like that's what happened in the last draft. That it's happening again is not really that crazy.
That is definitely true. People definitely want to get these good, well-known players off the bats because they're not going to be available for a long time, so you want to get them as quick as possible. But it's also really dangerous to pick them so quickly because they're going to be worth a lot more than they would in a later draft. And we see Blizzard going all the way up to 700 already.
This does not surprise me one bit. That man came into the finals and put on a show, and not only that. The carries on the SDL draft, there are not very many of them. They're a rare, precious commodity, and not everyone's going to get a carry main in the SDL draft. It's just not going to work like that. And so I'm not surprised to see, I would be genuinely surprised to see a carry go for under 500 in this draft because they're super rare. And as we're going to see,
your 900.
The first one going for 900. I'm not surprised in the slightest with how scarce SDL carries are. I also wouldn't be surprised with how scarce RSL solos are, later into the day if we see them going for a lot of money.
It's definitely going to be interesting. There are not many RSL solos, but the ones that there are mostly just really good ones. So I think every team is going to get at least one decent one, that's for sure. But that is a different story. We're going to be talking more about the current pick about to come up for the next player, and we do see Bearded's about to drop his pick, which is going to be interesting because he already has a player. He's already spent some of his banana dollars. And just a heads up, for Bearded being a non-player captain, he's being a player captain. He doesn't have as much money as other captains, so he has to be careful with how much he spends his money.
And to be honest, most of the time that would put you in a disadvantage. But I think in Bearded's case, it might actually be an advantage because Bearded is a very strong player on his own, and he doesn't need. He can figure out what role he needs. He's been able to flex other roles in the past. So him in this position, being a strong flex captain who will be good in pretty much any role you put yourself in, is going to be really strong here because a player like Bearded would probably go for more than 400.
That is definitely true. That is definitely true. I have seen that man play I think his main role is ADC. I've seen him play support. I've seen him play jungle. I've seen him play mid. The only role I have not seen from him is solo. And we do see him going for a die violently for 100 and up to 150. More of a sleeper pick, as I would assume, but I guess not.
Looks like you might be a little wrong here, as we see him coming onto the seed pretty hot. He's chilling at 400 for now, but something that I'd like to comment on is we didn't see it a lot in we didn't see it all that much in that specific pick, but a lot of these picks we're starting to just see people jump hundreds. Like they're just skipping 450, they're skipping 350, they're skipping 250, they're just going straight to 2, 3, 4, 500. And to be honest, I'm glad to see that that's starting to slow down a little bit, but it's kind of a little crazy to think that people
is
are just
definitely true.
going straight past.
Yeah, as you were just saying, we're up to 500 right now. I guess I was wrong in being a sleeper pick because there seems to be a lot of buzz around them. But yeah, just as you just said, I think at this point, now that the first round's almost over, people are starting to be a little bit more cautious with their banana dollars because like you don't want to spend too much and accidentally get someone that you don't even want,
Yeah.
Because it's a good strategy to raise the price for other players that a captain's definitely going to go for. But there's also a risk. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. There's that, as you were about to say, there is that risk involved, where you end up spending $700 on a player that you never even really planned on picking up.
Yep. And then they don't want to play with you, and then you just can't have a good team, and then you guys fight, and you have to wait till the free agents became available, then you have to drop him, pick someone up, and it's a whole nother hassle, and no one wants to do that, And we do see Average back on the clock. He has already spent, I think, 1,400 for 2 players at this point, and we're gonna see who he goes as his third pick. Definitely excited to see who he puts up. Could be anyone.
I mean, you're 100% right here. It could just be literally anyone at this point. So, we're just gonna have to wait and. There's
Play.
also once again, there's the possibility of trading coming in here.
It is
he
true.
could be looking for a trade. If you don't know how those work, trades work here in a little differently. You don't just trade player for player. You trade player for player and the money value. So if I were to trade Joe Schmo, who costed 200, and then had to go up against Ryan Swanson, who was for 400, right? I would have to trade Joe Schmo and 200 of my banana dollars to mix it to like create an equal trade, and you can get some money back by doing this.
Pretty much.
If
Exactly. Yeah, and we do see Gabs coming up 400. They went all the way up to 450. Gabs is, I've known him as a really good jungle and a mid player. And although his main role is mid, I'm not sure if you noticed this as well, but the SDL pool really lacks junglers as well. And I do think that people are looking into Gabs as a jungler because there really aren't many ones that prefer playing jungle, even as their secondary role. And we do see him going all the way up to 500s with Papinaki currently having the last bids. But is he going to be able to get Gabs for the 500, or is someone going to raise the price even higher? Because we just have to wait and find out. But just like I said before, Gab's a really good mid laner and a really decent jungler as well. So, and he does go for 500 to Papinaki.
And I mean, I can't remember how many junglers was it. Was it 5 or so?
I think less than the teams.
It
Less than the
is,
teams.
we're definitely in another one of those positions where we could see not every team getting a jungler. So I think the two main roles you should be prioritizing in this draft is most certainly mid and mid, not mid, jungle and carry.
Jungle and carry.
Unless there's obviously like a superstar still left on the board.
There sure is. I'm surprised that I think one of the players that should have been looked at by now is definitely Aphrodisiac, who has shown to be a pretty competent support player, as we have not seen any support players put up yet. And I want to see either him or a different support player put up by now, because I do think supports are pretty important to have. But I guess just changed my mind because we see Zelda go for 50 to up to 150, who I think they are a mid laner going all the way up to 250 now. And I've 300s, still got 400.
Already
Seems like
going in there,
yeah, just getting in there. People want to have a mid laner that is decent at this because I'm not sure if you played a game recently, but mid laners kind of dictate the meta right now. Have you ever played a game where you had to like ban 10 mages? That's how it feels right now.
Yeah, I mean mid laners are very strong right now. So again, even though I said earlier you should preface jungle and carries because there are far less of them, mid lane is also a fine option just because they impact your whole map. A good mid laner will carry your game. So maybe sometimes it's better to forgo getting something that's scarce for something that you believe will be insanely valuable to your team. And Zipzap is going in there. Oh, he's just gonna go straight for 900. Ooh.
I think that's a record, isn't it? I don't think there's ever been more than 2 900s in a draft before.
Well, if you may, there were actually 2 900s on casual mains themselves. Both P and Cryptic were 900 players.
And then okay, now I remember, because there were 3 of them.
There were
there
a few.
total.
There have been a few 900s in our last draft. We can maybe see it. We're on pace. We're only in the second round. We could see some captains really who still have some money around, throw around, and Cinnabar, a familiar face that you might not recognize. He's actually Panda Man, coming back this season, coming into the SDL this time, and we're gonna see how he does down in the SDL this season.
Yep, she's definitely about to go for 200 right now, and it seems that not a lot of captains want to pick her up to 200. A good mid laner, definitely a really fun person to have around as well. A really chill and really just a good person to hang out with. And I think that's also really important when it comes to making a team, is that you want to make sure your players get along, because if you make a team that doesn't get along, no one's gonna want to play. and no one wants to play, then how are you going to practice? And we see 200 being the current cap right now. Siptech going up to 250. Poppy Nike
Already
raising
at
it to 300.
300. You know,
It
and
seems like, yeah, go ahead.
we're starting to get into the point of the draft where money is more valuable than it once, was. As we can see, Cinnabar only going for 300 is it's kind of a surprise to me. Especially since they played in the RSL last season.
Yes, they indeed did. I don't know what happened to the accent over there, but just a bit of a language whiplash. And we do see her going for 302, Papa Nike, and Commandery up in the clock with their new pick. And I don't know, I kind of want to say support pick right now. No supports have been picked yet. I don't know. I feel like people, I don't know. I like having a good support on my team. I don't know about you, but there are some scarce players. But hey, you can just leave those scarce players till later and then pick them up when everyone spend their money as well. But we're gonna see what happens with commodity here. And Y guy for 50.
Ooh, why guys? Someone I've actually personally worked with. He's a very solid SDL player, but he's very new to the game, and he's also got the perfect mentality for learning. So I would not be surprised if Y guy was looking to go for a big chunk of change here. He's already at 400. We could see him go for a little more here, as he's got the perfect mentality, as I said earlier, and he's once again, he's new to the game. He doesn't have the bad habits that some of these SDL players have. You know.
That is that is definitely true. A big part of SEO is getting better and improving so that you can hopefully get promoted to RSL the following season. Definitely a really good mentality to have, especially an SEO player, because if you go into this league this season and then at the end come out as someone who's ready to go into RSL, that means you have done incredibly well. And we do see Guy going for 600, a solid solo laner, just like you said, and definitely a person who's willing to learn. And we're going to see how he comes into fruition in the following season as the solo laner for Commodities team.
He's someone I'm very excited to watch throughout the next season and possibly cast for. So
Exactly.
I'm very excited to see his growth throughout the SDL season.
And we do see Son of Two Dog by Legion about to put up novel 400. Oh boy, okay. Now this
Oh.
this might be big here. 200 already, 250, going slow. Seems like most people are actually in fact out of their beat book, so people cannot really.
Yeah, I mean, Novel is one of the players where if they go for cheap, it's because people don't have money anymore. Novel did extremely well last season. Obviously, if you look at the record books, they'll tell you. So he is.
Oh.
Oh, he's gonna go for 300. So, like, once again, we're in that portion where every dollar is worth so much more. We're gonna start to see the good players that were left behind or forgot about in that first round go for almost, nothing. Like 400 for him. If that's what we're seeing. If we see Bearded get him for only 400, that's just a steal.
That would be an incredible steal for him to pick up his old teammate as well, because we do know that they were backline buddies back in Comfort Picks, and that is indeed correct. The Comfort Picks backline is back with Bearded and Novel being on the same team.
That's what you like to see, man. That's the heartwarmer of the SDL. Seeing good, old teammates come back together, rejoin for another season, and look to take another crack at the field.
Exactly, that is definitely true. And we do see it's being Shadow's turn. And I gotta say, right now, definitely one of the bigger steals of this draft, although now we're going for only 400. But all right, well, we never know. Maybe someone else will go for a lot really cheap as well. And we do see it currently being Shadow's turn to put up a player. And Shadow is going to go for, drumroll please, Toxic Alpha for 50.
This is a name that I don't recognize. This is something that do you recognize this name personally?
I unfortunately am not really sure, although I do think he has played in showcases before. I unfortunately was unable to watch them as I currently live in Europe and it's kind of hard for me to do so. But we do see Toxic Alpha going for 200, 250, 300. Seems like Shadow's been doing his homework, going for
Yeah.
these picks at 350. Okay, maybe it's not just Shadow, maybe everyone's been doing their homework and I'm just slacking.
If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure this guy is a carry player. which would once again be not very surprising to me if he goes for quite a bit of money. So I know a little bit of insider info here that Vile and Shadow are going to be working together to prepare any carry they get into a very strong player coming into this season. So I'm excited to see whoever they pick up and see their growth panel.
Definitely exciting news because Viles. Oh, and we do see Shadow picking up Toxic Alpha, and Viles Protege being picked up right now, I guess. Yeah, definitely really interesting to see how Toxic Alpha comes into fruition with the SDL coaching and also just playing with Shadow's team, who was able to run a pretty successful team last season in the RSL as a player captain, but now he's retired and moved on to SDL. I think that's what his home was originally. That's where he wanted to be. That's where his heart belonged to, and I'm so glad to see him back doing something for the SDL.
Oh, I mean, 100%. Very successful captain as he had the #1 seed going into playoffs there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out as we, as we all expected. But yeah, I mean, still a very successful captain, and love to see what he's doing in the SDL here, trying to make a great team for people to learn and grow from.
Exactly. That I think that's why I prefer having non-player captains in the SDL because I feel like SDL there's so much more room for growth than RSL,
Yep.
and it just always warms my heart to see like a no-name where you just get drafted in the SDL and just immediately pop, not immediately, but like grow and become like a very high-end player at the end of the season or even get moved up. And yeah, we do see I think a bit of a break right now, seeing whose turn is gonna be next. Um, yeah, so up until okay, so far we've had a few players
Yeah.
go for about some money. Who do you think was who do you think was like besides like novel? Are there any like steals that stuck out to you?
Honestly,
That plays
that was the only one that was like that felt pretty crazy to me. I did get an update that he isn't going to be the most active player next season, so that makes a little bit more sense as to why, um, as to why he went for so low. So maybe that's not even a steal if you're only gonna get him for half your games. But I don't think there's anyone who is crazy, in my opinion.
Definitely, we did see a lot of players go for 900 who would have been pretty good steals if they didn't. But that's just kind of what tends to happen in these earlier rounds where everyone just has money to store everywhere. And we're back to the average with the pick right now. And let's see who it's going to be. And it's Hole for 50. I think Hole is Enigma, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he had a few name changes back to back, and I think his Discord name is Enigma. And pretty if I'm not mistaken, he's a solo support player, so frontline main, and seems like he is not well known by other captains because it seems like he might just go for 50 right now.
And that's something that like we're gonna get into the later portion of this draft. There are gonna be players for 50. Don't take it as these players are bad players. A lot of the times these players are unknown players. We've seen some. We honestly, even in the RSL season, you gotta remember, Vile went for 50. And he was still a very successful carry in the RSL and did a lot of work to get there. So going for 50, honestly, should just be a motivation boost.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
skipped over me. You shouldn't have done that.
It's a way to get revenge on the rest of the captains when I'm drafting you. You want to show them, hey, this is what you missed out on, buddy. Definitely. Those unknown players, the people who've done their homework will get to see them and get to see them be just big stars, and that's also really exciting as well. Just kind of what happened with me last season as well. I think I went for under 50, and you see how that worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, 150,
So
I think, if I remember correctly.
yeah, exactly. Um, so definitely seeming that it is just going to go for 50, and yeah. I think we're just waiting for the clock to tick and for this support solo main to go to average opportunist to add on a spot to his roster, which I think he has about three now, if I'm not mistaken.
I can take a quick look right here. So, let's do a quick update while we're waiting on this. Do a quick update on everyone's balance here, real quick. So, average opportunist, he had one player. He had Kid Who Sucks. That That is his name, by the way.
It doesn't
And
actually suck. We don't.
yeah, and then he still had 1,300 banana dollars. So getting a 50 player right here puts him in a really good spot here to basically have some money to spend, as he has the most money left over. Shadow, who has 900 left over, he has Ted Listens and Toxic Alpha. We have Vibe Legion, who has 700 still, and he spent 900 on Blizzato. We have Commodity, who has 1,000 left over. He spent 600 on the man Y guy, my boy. We have Pop and Nike. I don't know, man. We have Pop and Nike, who has 300, and he has Nocturnal Ink, Mind of Gabs, and Cinnabar. We have Coolest Raven, who has 400, and he has Alex for Tech and Zelda and Bearded with only 50, who has Domim, Die, and Novel. So honestly, overall, we've got some pretty good rosters so far coming along. We're definitely into the middle portion.
We definitely drew. Right now, there are only a few wild cards left when it comes to captains, and we do see Average Opportunist about to put up his next pick, with him being the Warlock going for 100. Okay, Warlock is pretty versatile player. I think he plays about every role except solo, if I'm not mistaken. And we do see his price going up to 350 already. And are he's gonna stop? No, 450. Seems like Shadow also has eyes on him and go up to 500s. This might be another very high-end player because Shadow seems to be really wanting to have Warlock in his team. He is currently typing. He's gonna raise the price. We're just gonna let it sit.
I mean,
That's the exciting part.
Either of these players could get him because they both have enough money to go to 900 if they really feel like it. So it would be a little surprising to me if Shadow went for 900, as he still has 2 more roster slots he'd have to fill out at the very end of the draft. So I would be a little surprised if he went for that. He might even just be bumping him up a little bit and trying to figure out when Average will back down, because Average does have a ton of money still. Average still has that 1,300. He's sitting on a pile of cash, and realistically, if you're captain, you got to kind of chip away at that a little bit. You can't be letting him get any players for cheap, and I think that's what's going to happen. Is Average has to spend $700 for the pick that he wants.
That is true. I think Shadow was actually playing the draft game. I was just raising the price and seeing what he can get away with, and he might have made Average spend much more on Warlock than he normally would have, and that is definitely a really good strategy within this draft to screw over the other captains to make them waste and reap money, and not waste, but use more than they actually would have in a normal situation. Because yeah,
100%.
Yeah, exactly. And we do see next up coming in Average Opportunist again. This was
It is a snake draft. So
yeah,
what happened?
yeah,
what
he's
happened?
back.
What happened the first time was Hole was actually a player who hadn't signed up, and we had to redo that. And so that was a little. He didn't actually get a player for 50. He just chose a player who wasn't on the list. And then he comes back in, actually did his pick, which is Warlock, and is now going for his last pick, Bonsai Joe. And I remember Bonsai Joe. He is a carry player who has an immaculate voice, let me tell you.
Definitely a really okay. Okay. As someone who has been in a team with him in the different league, he does have a very immaculate voice. I have to say, definitely a very solid carry player, and only over 200 right now, which is very surprising considering all the lack of carries that we're talking about. This team price going up to 300, commodity seeming to bump it up to 350. As you just said, these carry players are very sought after. People just want them going up to 400.
It's
Average
just
is
the nature of the game, you know?
Yeah. You need someone to shoot the big structures. You need someone to shoot the big muscly man hitting your squishy magical friend. And
gotta have them. They're carries.
yeah, you need them. And we see 400 seeming to be the cap of Bonsai Joe, and he does go for 400 too. Average Opportunist. Definitely a really good price for a carry, consider how limited the carry pool is, and a really solid carry as well. Exciting, definitely exciting.
I mean, that's what's gonna happen here when we're getting into this portion of the draft where there's only one person. Well, there's two people left over who can spend 900. So we're getting to these portions of the draft where we can't see these explosions of prices anymore. Realistically, Shadow and Commodity are really the only people who can go out and shell out some cash for some players.
That is definitely true. And I think what's going to end up happening is Commodity, I feel like, has been saving some of the players that he's been wanting really, really badly into the later of the draft, because that is also a game plan you could have as well, is that you just don't go for players that you actually want to draft and just put up players that you think will get drafted just so you can
Yep.
avoid and make people spend money.
And I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think he was the one who put up Y Guy. I think he wanted Y Guy. Y Guy came up there and he wanted him, so he spent 600. I'm not sure if he was the one who actually put him up there. So he hasn't picked up a player he's put up yet. So.
Exactly. So that could have been his game plan all along. Maybe we've just been playing for fools. And we see the next up coming in. I don't even remember whose turn it is, but it's going to be interesting as we still have a lot of roster slots to fill and still needs to put some carries up there, dude.
Yeah, coming up next should be Shadow. So we will see, whenever they're ready to put him up there, we'll see him kind of come in and nominate. And we see.
Right.
What?
What?
Huh?
Huh? Wait, the novel verm? Wait, how's
Novel
he?
worm? Oh, I'm a little confused here, as I believe we already did this.
Yeah, I think I'm having deja vu right now. Well, we do see Novel going up to 50 or to 300. Perhaps there was like a problem with the draft and they had to redo it. Maybe an invalid transaction occurred.
Possibly. I'll be getting an update very quickly here. Inform you guys on what went down. Okay, so Bearded ended up going over the amount of money he had for Novel. He only had 350, and he ended up going for 400. So Bearded Will ends up not getting Novel here. And he's gonna have to go back to the drawing board. It looks like we will not be seeing old friends reunite, as he's gonna go Magnetic Excalibur, aka I think it was Vibe Legion.
It's Vibe Legion. It's actually Vibe Legion. They're good friends, but they're not the same people, unfortunately. Oh, that is so tragic. Definitely the big tragedy of this draft. This long lost friends being unable to be reunited in the same team. But Novel again go for 400. Definitely a steal for how much of a good mid laner he is. Going off to the team of Vibe Legion, pulling up another Larson spot for them. And yeah, so okay. Hopefully now we can get back to the regular draft, and now that the issues have been solved, and we'll see some more of the we can't really have any more big wildcards anymore. But at this point, it could just be anyone. And that's the exciting part of this draft, because there's still some good players that have not been put up yet. There's still some stars that have not been put up yet.
I agree.
But also a lot of sleeper picks.
I'm looking at this list still, and I still see some very solid players still on it. We see Narcos, he's still on the board, very strong mid laner. We see who else? Sir Gunny Daddy. He did really well last season while he was subbing in. There's quite a few other players who are like in here who are still really strong players, where it seems like they've just been kind of held off. Let's hold these players off for a little bit and try and get them in later. So
we do see
Eddie?
Italian Breadman going for 200 right now.
Signing up for 200. Bearded trying to get him for 10. A little confusing there. To me, but he's trying to go in there.
Okay, have you ever bought bread? It's not gonna be more than $10, is it? I think that's what his way of thinking there.
I'm not buying bread if it costs $10.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be more than $10. He was just being safe, just in case it's like an artisanal. Yeah, it's an artisanal sourdough. You're not gonna pay some more money for it, But we do see Italian Breadman go for 250 right now. And yeah, the center roster to Shadow, which is definitely good for him because he still has a lot of money to spend in case there is like a play that he really wants that he has not put up yet.
I mean, he's 100%. Let's take another quick recap at money. So, with Shadow spending 250 on that, he should go down to 650 left over. Average will have 200.
Oh, sorry
5.
to interrupt you,
Oh,
but we do see Nitro being put up for 100 right now, and not really any contestant around him, which is interesting. And seems like he's going to go for 100. Nitro definitely one of the more versatile players, as I have seen him play basically every role so far. I'm not even sure
mhm.
what his main role is, but definitely a good flex pick to have because you can get a player for cheap that can play a lot of roles. You can just slap him anywhere, and then you can just have success with him. And I think that's what's going to be happening for Vibe Legion right now, as no one seems to be wanting to raise the price for Nitro, and he's going to go for a big hundreds to Vibes team.
Yeah, I mean, 100. A little weird to me. He's one of the most active players here. He's always
Mhm.
been he's always around. He's playing in a lot of in-houses and all that stuff. I think maybe a little bit of the reason why he went for so little is that he does have some of those EU scheduling issues as well. So maybe some of that went to the play, but a little surprising to me that he went for only 100.
Mhm. Agreed. And yeah, that's okay. Commodity. I think he is the one with the most money left, if I'm not mistaken, right? And
Yeah, if we had to look at it, he has 1,000 still, 1,000 still left over. So I mean, once again, no one has even he's got 350 more than anybody else. Like no one can really touch him at this point of the draft. If he really wants some players, he's getting some players.
we
He
do see him go for Vincidius for 50 up to 200. Papa Nike raising the price for Vincidius. A carry player, definitely valuable to have. And we see Commodity raising up price up to 250. Seems like it's going to be a battle between Pop and Nike and Commodity with this rare gem that is a carry player.
The
And currently at
battle
three.
could end right here, as this is where Papa Nike runs out of money. If 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 Captain Coma really wants him, like another 50 and you've got him. And
And yep,
there
you're
we
right.
go. You know,
There it is.
unless someone else wants to hop in there and try and get him, he's got him right here. Papa Nike only has 300, so this is where we're gonna start to see the max bid go less. Right now, the max bid is 650. That is what
Yep.
the highest someone can spend on a player now. So we're gonna start to see that evolve and go later into the draft, and it's one of the more complicated things when doing a bid draft is when you get to the end. What is the maximum that everyone can spend still? And that's a big important thing for captains to keep track of.
That is definitely true. And yeah, we see Vincidius going for 350. And yeah, we're at this point where basically in the very like later stage of the draft where it's just like you say, people are just out of money. And yeah, at this point it's anyone's game. So I guess to be careful because if they end up wanting a player and commodity just says yoink and you're just gonna get
Mm-hmm.
it. So they have to be really careful about that. And we see next up being I am not really sure, but we're gonna find out who it is
So
because
after
I am.
commodity, we're gonna go into Pop and Nike. He's gonna
Mhm.
go into the draft. He's only got 300 left and still has 2 slots to fill. So we're in a little bit of an interesting position. He's gonna go for Cad Shepard.
The OG good morning man himself,
Mm-hmm.
Cat Shepherd, going
Mm-hmm.
for 50. This man right here, oh my god, he is the reason why I
Mm-hmm.
get up in the mornings to see his
Every single
messages.
time.
Brings me so much joy. I'm gonna see reactions going wild. I'm gonna join there as well. Um, seems like average opportunists said no. I want some more of that for myself as well, and raising up the price for 100. And oh,
And
could this have been a bait?
I mean, there's a possibility it could have been a bait here. Average opportunist only has 200 here, so if Papa Nike really wants him, he could just throw 200 down, and force him to get it. This could be if this is a bait, this could be the most ultimate of baits here. If average opportunist Average Opportunist goes for that 200 because he'll have no money to fill out that last slot. And it's something we haven't covered yet, but if you have no money and you're at the end of the draft, you have to wait all the way till everyone else has gotten their picks, and then it goes into a snake-style draft. So you kind of just have to, really, you're just kind of sitting there waiting around, hoping that you could get something.
Get someone.
You're gonna have to wait for all of the best players to be gone by then.
That is definitely true. And we do see Cat Shepard go from 150 to Pop and Nike, and Zipzap putting up Aphrodisiac for 50. A sleeper pick going for 100 already. Definitely a very solid support mid player. Uh,
Pop and Nike
honestly,
going in with the max bid he's
yes.
got.
Oh my God, he's going all in. 200, baby. People are
200.
going wild. Seems like everyone wants the slice of the aphrodisiac pie. Going at 200 from commodity. Now going to 250. Going to 300 from commodity. Seems like he's a contested pick here. And
100%.
350?
If you're going for 350 at this point in the draft, that's all of Bearded's money left over.
That's a 900 right there.
That's the 900. You're 350 at this point. You're a 900 caliber player because there is just no money left over here, and it looks like cross fingers. It looks like Aphrodisiac going for 350 here.
Bearded said, "I want to pick my support this time," and yes, he sure did. He gets Aphrodisiac for 350.
And honestly, very solid pickup. He does, he's at the point where he's out of this draft. He's got no money left. He can't do anything anymore. So he's got to wait until the very end to pick up his last player here. And we're just gonna have to see what's left up on the board here.
For sure. And we're gonna see this new ladder stage coming in, and Zipzap's turn it being, and we're gonna see who he puts up. And hold on. Oh wait, because we're back.
Yep,
I keep getting this wrong.
We skipped. That was supposed to be Bearded's turn, but he has no money left. So we're gonna skip. We're gonna skip him, and go straight back to Zipzap, and see exactly what he has left. So a little bit of an unknown rule in this draft is that you do have you could just pass. You do not have to nominate for your first 2 minutes. And granted, it looks like we're gonna have that happen already. You can only do it once. If you do it more than once, you get fined for it. I can't remember off the top of my head the exact fines for it, but these captains, they'll know it. They'll know exactly what the consequences are for that. So, so Zipzap is gonna end up using his freebie. And we see Sir Gunny coming back up. Another player that I know Papa Nike is very comfortable with him. I know he won't be on that team, but I would not be surprised if he went for that. Is actually all of Papa Nike's money right now.
He went for 900. He went for 900 in our hearts.
and that's looking like that's the player that Papa Nike really wants to round out his squadron with. Is Sir Gunny Daddy. So it looks like he might just get it here. His average opportunist isn't really willing to. It seems like he's not willing to go to that 200 marker there.
That is definitely true. I think it might have been just a trick to make Nike spend more money on him, because we all know that Gunny and Nike are friends. So in this case, it makes sense to raise it up, because that player wants to have them. That captain wants to have them in their team. And we do see,
a little silly of a move considering he's got his roster filled out now. So I don't know why exactly you'd want to do that, but yeah.
Just in case, you can pick up a sub. You are allowed to pick up 6 players if you do still have money left and have a sub. So that's also something worth considering. Yeah, yes, you are.
You are?
Yeah, yes, you are. If you can go over. Yeah,
Aries,
you can go
if
check.
you hear me, could you give us confirmation on that? I do not remember that one correctly. So, if you are able to, we'd love to hear word. But going right back into the draft, we have Captain Coma coming back up again, and he's got he still has 650 left over, and he's got 2 slots to fill. But you know who else has 650 and 2 slots to fill? Shadow. So we're gonna see, possibly we can see them starting to fight over these same players left around.
Yes. That is definitely true. Shadow has been quiet lately with the. He seems to be saving his money for a very specific player because he has not put up anything. Oh, never mind. He just proved me wrong when he lays the price for Claw Eagle, a support player going for 100. He's been rather quiet lately, going for 150. To the commodity. Oh, 200. Oh, okay. I guess Shadow just heard me. I said, you know what? I'm gonna get back into the game. And yeah, the commodity and Shadow having this fight between each other. And just like you said, it might just end up coming down to who's willing to spend more money because, yeah, 300
Yeah,
seems
we're
like
already
both
at
of
300. We're getting closer to where it's just them two, you know.
yeah.
Raven could still get in here, aka ZipZap could still get in here if he wanted to get into this bidding war, but as it's calmed down, it looks like it might just be Shadow's player here as Captain Coma ain't looking like he wants to spend more than that. Yeah, it's going to end up
Yep.
going to Shadow here.
Shadow Demon picks up Claw Eagle for 300 and another player to his squad that he won't be playing in, but he will be captaining, he will be owning. And yeah, we're at a very late stage of the draft. Most squads are filled up. And at this point, it's anyone's game. It's people are out of money. Some captains are just out of money for real. They can't get anyone else. They have to wait. And it would feel really bad if Beard had a very secret pick that he was looking for that another captain knew about and just stole it from him. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things go from here on out.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely. You know, it's one of those things about Bearded does have to wait. The whole time. So a quick update from Aries is that everyone will get a sub after all the rosters are filled. So
Okay.
I don't think that I don't personally think there's any advantage to having leftover money. I'm assuming that'll just go back to Snake style from wherever that left off or however that's gonna go. That'll be figured out as that goes, because a quick update here, we're gonna have a 2-week, you cannot pick up players for 2 weeks. You got to be very careful with who you pick up here and who you can actually you got to be 100% on every one of the players, and you got to be careful with your sub, you know. You got to make sure they're actually able to be there.
Oh, and we do see Busta Kappa going for 100 with the next pick of Vibe Legion. Busta, you know, you coached for his team before. How do you feel about him?
Busta Cap is a very interesting dude to play with. When you're winning and riding high, he's a very emotional player. So he gets in there and he will basically just carry the team's emotions on his back. So, you know, if you're on a good team and you feel like you can really start to win, Busta Kappa is that perfect piece to keep the emotions high, keep everything, keep the energy high in the room.
Agreed. And we do see going to commodity for 150. Pretty cheap, but also not cheap at the same time because, as you know, there is not that much money left at this point. It's everyone's gonna go for 100, 200. If it goes to 300, that means they're like the biggest show that has been sold. And yeah,
The two big spenders here are now ZipZap, aka Coolest Raven, and Commodity still. Commodity has 650 and Raven has 400 left over. So we're starting to see, we're getting into that point where quick update, actually Commodity has 500. I forgot that he just spent 150 on ZipZap. So Commodity now gets whatever player he wants as his last. Because
basically.
that's not even basically. He just gets whoever he wants. No one can spend 450, and he has 450, and he's got one spot left. So when we get into that last spot here, he's gonna be, you know, he's got whoever he wants to finish out his roster. And we see my boy Bandana Dave going on the draft for 50 right now. And
God bless.
God bless Dave. All right. Now
you can have this one.
I can have this one. Dave,
personally,
I've been working with Dave a lot. I've been playing casuals with Dave a lot. And so Ooh, it looks like we're gonna start to see a little bit of a bidding war. Is this what Commodity wants to finish off his roster here? I mean, if he wants it, he has it. Shadow can't go for too much longer, but Shadow's also putting up a little bit of a bid war here. So we're seeing Dave go for 250, and I think he could be, he's one of those players who'd be a great person to finish out these rosters here. And Shadows, he's got still 100 more. He can go up to 350 here. Looks like Koma's gonna back off and give Shadow the final player of his roster, Bandana Dave. That's my boy.
Honestly, definitely a good last pick, a good solid jungle and solo. A fun player to have, just like you said. And yeah, that's another roster filled. And yeah, we're at this point where the draft is almost over, but there's a lot of players that are going to be picked to fill up these last year roster spots. And we're back to average opportunist, who is going to be putting up his pick now. And yeah, looking at these players here, it could be anyone.
Yeah,
It could be anyone.
and I'm just thinking for a second here. What is average? Oh,
Ooh,
Jiggly Panda's
ooh.
still on the board,
People forgot about him.
dude.
Oh
Oh my
no.
gosh. I
Yeah,
honestly, I think, I think Average made a misplay here. I think if you want Jiggly Panda, you can't put him out right now. I think the only reason he's gotten this far is because people forgot about him, and now he
they
can't have
really.
him.
Yep,
He's out of that running.
that's.
Dude,
Oh, that's
wow.
unless that was a bait, which I think is a bad bait because
Like,
I mean.
oh my. I'm thinking about it logically. Like, if if I'm average opportunist, I've got
Mhm.
200 left over. I've noticed that he hasn't been picked up at all, and that nobody's looking at him, and that I think at that point you just got to throw someone out there and wait for your time, wait for your opportunity to try and get him for, when you can, because at this point, when a player like that goes on for that long, people remember who he is, and
And they sure did.
I'm not surprised that average opportunist not able to.
That is definitely true, and we do see him go to commodity to be another roster slot for him. And we're back to average opportunist now because most players have filled up their roster, and we're gonna see who he puts up to compensate. Maybe he's gonna put up another sleeper pick that people just forgot about that I just don't seem to see. So it's definitely interesting. But hopefully he'll be able to play this game a little bit better and just go for 200 himself. Because if he had raised the price up to 200 immediately, he might have had a better shot at getting him.
From what I know, I still see 2 carries left on the board. I see some interesting players still left over. I see an RSL player who ended up moving down to the SDL this season still on the
Oh,
board. Um, Malachi, trying to remember. Name is
oh, it's
crossing.
Zeptar. Zeptar.
Oh, Zeptar. That's okay. Yeah. So Zeptar, he's the guy. He played that. Why can't I
Comfort
remember the
picks.
Guardian's name? He
Comfort
was
picks.
Comfort Pick support. What was the
Kepri.
Guardian he played? Kepri.
Kepri.
Kepri. He played Kepri. Had his build. He invented his own meta, and he he was really gotten in there. Yeah. It took me a minute, but I got him down.
Don't worry, I got you. I will never forget that name. I will never forget that man. Definitely a really fun player to watch, and from what I heard, a fun player to play with as well. And with this team going to my Legion's team for hundreds, and that's it. Uh, ooh, I think that might have been a bait. I think Average just baited Two Dog into picking him up by
Maybe. I
putting him
mean,
up.
we'll just have to,
Yeah,
we'll have to find out some other time. As we don't know right now. So
yeah, that is definitely true. To me, if any player just like gets put up or 50 and a captain does have more than like 200 to spend on him, it just feels like it was intentional if they don't put up any more for them. So that's why I just assume that, hey, maybe this was just a trick and maybe he got away with it. We're not going to find out until after the drafts. And yeah, it's up to someone else's turn now. And there are still a
Who's
few
the
players that I remember. There are two
I
RSL players that got moved down that have not been picked yet. Two
Yeah,
of them.
I'm a little confused here. There's two of those left over. There's one person who had a really strong performance in the SDL early on, had some real life stuff come up and weren't able to finish out the season, but they are still an insane player in their role. I see some players who've performed really well in the SDL in the past. Um, it's a little curious to me that some of these picks um have still gone for so long,
Undrafted,
you know.
undrafted. Definitely exciting because, yeah, I think if any of those players do get a put up right now, there's going to be huge hype surrounding them. And hopefully we get to see them because
Hmm.
they're all also not, known to be fun people to play with as well. So it just seems
Yeah.
weird to me that no one has been looking at them so far. Oh,
I wonder if we're in a situation where no one put them on their board because no one thought they could get them, you know. And I'm in a little bit of a weird position here. If
yeah,
I'm if I'm if I'm ZipZap here, I'm looking like I'm in an insanely good spot. All right, so everyone has their rosters filled out except for Average Opportunist and Raven, which is ZipZap, and
hmm
I'm seeing a former teammate of his still on the board. That's kind of a little curious to me as to why he hasn't gotten picked up. Um, I see some RSL players who um, came back down to the SDL. I'm seeing some players who are genuinely surprising me. If I'm ZipZap, I'm in an insanely good spot when it comes to drafting here.
definitely for sure. And I have a hunch that he's gonna actually go for that former teammate of
Hmm.
his. I just feel it. I think it's gonna happen.
I have a
I
good
don't
feeling
know.
as well. I think
It's
I think it's impossible to
oh,
pat.
whoa!
Oh, a
It's a
trade.
trade. Alex for Jiggly. Interesting. That
These
would be.
guys.
I think he. Does he?
I hold on. I'm trying to.
How
So
does the money
Alex.
work here?
So
Yeah.
Alex um ended up going for 700,
hmm
and Jiggly um where is I have to Jiggly. Oh, Jiggly Panda went for 200.
Okay.
So commodity. I don't even think commodity has enough money for this trade to happen.
Yes, and we do
Um.
see the thumbs up and also the no emotes coming in, and it
Mhm.
seems like it's an invalid trade.
Yeah, he does not have
Uh,
the money to trade.
yeah, I think we're just gonna have to. I think Zipzap has to dominate a different player now because he does not have
Mhm.
enough money to afford that trade.
If I'm ZipZap, I'm still feeling very comfortable.
Oh, that is,
Oh, there's
there it
one of
is.
his former teammates. You see, Cat
Yeah,
4200, a support player going on the board,
a
and
sleeper hit, a
a
sleeper
sleeper,
hit.
a sleeper. Man's got a crazy Ganesha. I'll tell you that. I worked with him on um, why can't Thumb Buddies. I worked
Somebody.
on him with Thumb Buddies, and he is a great support. Always fun to be around. Average opportunist looking to get in there. He's got that 100. Maybe he's trying to spend some. He might be trying to spend some money, and or bid him up a little bit there. So we'll have to see. Is average gonna try and bite that 200, or is he just gonna go for that 100?
I think this is where he's gonna stop, and I think Cat 4200 is gonna go to Zipzap. I mean Ravens team, and yeah, we do see the
Mhm.
cat emote coming in to signify the player has gone to Zipzap.
Mhm.
That's Cat 4200. I think a really solid support pick
Mhm.
overall. Definitely the best Ganesh I've ever seen in the SDL, and possibly ever. Maybe not. But yeah, definitely one of the more of a late game steal. I feel like just hide the player under the rug and just pull them out as soon as no one has money to spend
Mhm.
because you know you're gonna get them. Definitely a very clever move from ZipZap or Raven, as we should say. And we see the next person coming up. Um, honestly, do you know what's so interesting to me?
What?
If a captain said, "Hey, I want to have these two are SDL players that also are on the same team,
Mhm.
I think that's like a really good thing to go for. I'm
And
not sure if any.
there we
Yeah.
go. That's the player I was looking at this whole
Oh,
time as to why he had not
yeah.
been getting picked up. Narcos, not a surprise that he went for almost all of the money left over in the draft. Genuine,
Oof.
no surprise for me there.
That's
So
actually
now
massive.
average just gets who does average want, because is his last two to fill out the slots. As Raven only has 50 banana dollars left over.
And
Average
goes
could
for
just go to
Fallen.
100 on both.
Yep.
He
Just
doesn't
goes for
need to.
Fallen for 100, and I think we can just stop the clock right now. Yeah, he's going for Fallen and ADC player. Pretty solid ADC choice. Definitely a good player to have, one of the rare ADCs, as you just said, to fill out a roster. And yeah, he just goes to average, because average at this point just gets to pick whoever he wants. And yeah, okay, and his last pair is going to be, drumroll please, we're about to find out. It's gonna take a longer time than we expect.
All right, my drum roll was terrible. It's not even working. And now,
Come on.
come on, hey,
Come
take
on,
a little time to deliver.
Where? No.
Maybe.
It's happening. It's happening. It's
Oh, it's
happening.
happening. It's happening. Queen
Sadist.
Sadist. I actually have some personal history on Queen Sadist. She has not been in the Reap. I don't think she's actually ever played a league game here. She might have subbed in for a team, but in season 3, she was the captain of Galactic Gangsters for a little while. She ended up having something go on that prevented that from actually fully going through, but she was almost able to show her stuff on Galactic Gangsters. So it's great to see her get another shot here.
Definitely.
On Average Opportunists team. And ZipZap, there's the nether player that I was surprised that no one has picked up. T-Kells going all the way. Oh, commodity going in with an $100.
The max, that's the cap.
In there.
That's the cap.
That is the cap here. So
Sheesh.
I think Commodity is going to have to drop one of his players to pick up T-Kells. I'm a little surprised that T-Kells was almost the very last money pick of the draft.
I'm positive that either A, people forgot about the fact that he moved down, no one noticed that he moved down, or hear me out, as he just said, people were just afraid that no one's going to get him, because they were like, yeah, no, he's going to go for too much. I can't afford that on my draft boards. But you know, surprises happen. And yeah, he goes for 100, and Commodity now has a dropper player from his boards. Okay. Refresh me on this. So does he? Okay, now he's gonna drop a player. Does he get the money back, or how does that
will
work?
not. As if you got the money back, you would be able to create an infinite loop here of just having more money, spending 100 on each player over and over and over and over and over again, and just not letting the draft continue until we were to intervene or something like that. So there is a cap to this. There is a limit. So we can't just let it happen forever, but obviously there is, that will go down. Yep. I think he's currently figuring out, they're currently figuring out down there what's going down, and he is going to end up dropping Y Guy. Unfortunate to see that happen to my boy, but I understand T-Kells is going to be an extremely strong player in the SDL this season, and am not surprised.
That is definitely true. Oh, there it is. He's back.
And there he is. He's coming back, and he's found his team. Y Guy is gonna end up going to ZipZap.
That is beautiful.
Think about it, Y Guy. You went for more money than T-Kells in this draft, so just think about that. You went for 600, and technically 650 if you wanna. If you wanna, yeah, I mean, just think about it like that. So, if that goes through, yeah, it looks like that is gonna go through. We are gonna end up going to the Next portion of the draft, which is Bearded picking his last player, because no one else needs to, and
There's
he's the only one who ran out of
still
money.
one
Um,
RSL player on the board. He
there
is
is
still out
indeed,
there,
there is indeed, there's one player who
but
was on an RSL squadron last season, still on the
it
board.
performed fairly well. But oh, Charagon.
Wow, a little surprising to me. It looks like he's gonna go undrafted.
Interesting.
Um,
Interesting
So
indeed.
if you were a little curious, we were talking about Royal Ice Blaze. He was a substitute for why is the team the team always escapes me right now, right when I
Fear
need it
no
the
evil.
most. Fear No Evil.
Fear
He
no
was a
evil.
substitute for Fear No Evil. He played honestly, he had some good showings on Yamoja. Um and in general he had some good showings in the RSL. A little surprising that he didn't end up getting picked up here. So yeah, a little
That is
unfortunate for him.
that is true. But I was actually thinking of another RSL player that moved down. Ray.
Uh, hey, hold on. That is escaping me.
Ray is indeed an SDL. He was the jungler for
Oh, the jungler. Yeah.
yeah, he was a jungler for Plague Bearers. And he did get moved down as well. And he, despite
I
being very, very recent to Conquest, he had a pretty strong showing. Just didn't have enough knowledge to back it up with his mechanical skill. And it surprised me that he actually ended up going undrafted. But you never know. You can always pick up a free agent as your sub.
I'm not 100%. I'd have to check. RSL. We'll check it. We'll check it in a second. We'll update you guys later. But now we're gonna go into the rotational phase, where it's at the very end of the draft. I think we're just gonna go in order of the random generated picks on who gets to pick their rotational. Pick up their rotational.
That is definitely true. And we do see average opponents coming with the first pick. There are a lot of versatile players still left on the board that could be used up either to replace a member that you would maybe not want to start or just, use it as like a very good flex player in case you know that a player you drafted will have scheduling issues. And Advanced Bologna, really okay. Just camera, water, camera.
Oh, oh.
Okay, sorry about that.
It is all good here, and he's gonna pick up Advanced Bologna, and we're gonna go I think straight into Shadow. Shadow should be the next up.
He should be next in the order.
To pick up our rotational player here. There's still quite a few names that I recognize on this board. A few SDL players who have been around for a few seasons.
Oh.
Yellow Jin is not one of those players. He's a new, if I recall correctly, he's a new player to the league here, and probably someone that Shadow scouted out and looked at.
Definitely for sure. Yeah. And I see Sanaduga going for his rotation right now. Oh, I don't recognize that name actually.
Name sounds so familiar. It's escaping me, and this is why I need you to remember them, because when they escape me, you help me figure it out. And now I can't
That
figure
is,
it out.
I genuinely am not sure who that might be. Maybe his Discord just is different than his in-game name, and he should have put up his in-game name. But he does go drafted, and now it's down to Commodity to select his own rotational sub. And yeah, this could be anyone, and
Yeah,
we're gonna see
honestly,
who it is.
I don't even have a guess of some still left up on the board. That have kind of escaped me. We've seen some people known
Oh,
for region
I
promotion.
have just gotten some insider info about Wheelie112. He's a mid laner that is a pretty good friend between Vibe Legion and that crowd. So he is indeed. Oh, wait a minute, Yellowgen again. Commodity, what are you doing?
Commodity.
Commodity, you can't do that. You can't be on
Commodity.
two teams. Come on, come on.
Commodity.
Yeah, down with that. That's not right. Come on. You gotta pick your own teammate. You can't just take someone else's.
Oh man, commodity.
How could you do this, Commodity? We just get yelled at. All right. Gonna have to put up a new player as that yellow gen has already been picked up by none other than Shadow. and we're going to see who that will be
Gonna have
in due
to.
time.
I, I don't even know, man. He's already gotten 4 thumbs down. So I don't even know what he's got to do. Oh, Cosmic Feeder. All right, there we go. That's gonna be his pick. Cosmic
That's going to be his
Feeder.
pick. All right, and we can give a good react to that because that player is indeed eligible, and I'm just going to give him a little sparkle because he deserves it
Little
because he made the right
sparkle.
call now. Just a little sparkle just because
Little
he
sparkle.
did the right call. Exactly. See, look at all these reactions going up. All right. Oh, okay. There's way too many of them now. All right. Who's up next?
All right. I All right, so up next should be Poppin' Nike coming up to pick up his rotational. And is there anyone that I know he knows still on this board? It looks like Catgirl Chipotle. I don't know if they're personally friends, but I was a little surprised when I hadn't seen her name come up. That was one of the few that I'd been looking at every once in a while. Like, dang.
Definitely. She
Uh,
is, yeah, definitely. Surprised me that no one picked her up, but I'm glad that she did end up getting picked up because she's a very solid player and a really fun person to play with as well. Very pleasant and optimistic. And yeah, just glad to see her actually getting picked up. And now we're back to Zip who's going to pick up his own rotational. And we're gonna see who he ends up going for. There's still a few players that are on the board that are pretty darn good that have not gone up yet.
I agree. There's 2 spots left. We'll have to see, who's going out here. I mean, we're seeing a pretty stacked SDL draft where, there's still at the very last 2. We're seeing players who are still very good coming up on this board.
Indeed, doesn't matter how late you get picked. If you get picked, that means you're playing. And we do see Zip about to drop his own sub, and it is going to be Zip. Come on, you can't be saying that. Why are you calling me garbage? That's just uncalled for. But yeah, he does indeed pick up your garbage. I think his Discord name was I swear I saw him today. I don't even hit a very King is me. There we go. Picks up your
King is
garbage.
me. That is another one of my certified boys.
Mhm.
King
Oh,
is me coming in here, finally getting drafted. In here, he's a very good flex player, a great person to have as your rotational, and can really do pretty much anything.
that is true. And we do see Bearded put up reporter support, but y'all better know reporter support is now an RSL player, and he's a winner since when? There seems to be some microphone issues going on right now with our dear friend Muffin Man. His mic seems to be going off.
Oh
But
no, dude.
okay, there we
Is
go.
that better?
Sorry for
Does
the
that work?
yes, that is so much
All
better.
right,
Yes,
all
sorry for
right,
the
all right.
audio, everyone. But yeah, reporter support. He is RSL right now. He's gonna be in the other draft coming up very, very shortly. But yeah, Beater has to pick up someone else. And yeah, it could be anyone. At the very last pick. That's the title. That's definitely, the last pick. You still get to play, you still get to show off. And listen, everyone, like even if you didn't end up getting not drafted this season, don't feel bad. There's going to be roster changes. There's going to be more sub spots opening up going into the season. And yeah, just never. I'll wait.
Oh, okay.
Hmm?
Hang tight. So wait, I'll send it in tonight. What? Can you do
Can
that?
you do that? Can you do that?
Can he do that? I honestly
Can you
don't
do
know,
that?
and I don't even know if he can do that.
I'm gonna give him a player that just for that.
Can he even do
Player.
that, bro?
I don't think he can do that.
uh,
Oh, okay. We just
okay,
got
it's
confirmation.
fine, it's fine. All
All right. Well,
right.
so I guess your garbage ends up being the last pick of our draft show.
Oh,
Yeah, so
wait a minute. I think. Wait, hold on. Am I being dumb? Let me check. No. Yep. Never mind. It is the last pick since. Yeah, I'm being dumb.
yep.
So Bearded
okay.
is gonna send his in later tonight. we will have to get it done tonight, as we are looking to get those rosters posted as soon as possible for you guys.
Indeed.
So we'll see who he has tonight. We'll keep you updated. If that comes in during the RSL draft, we'll keep you updated. We'll tell you about that sometime in the future.
Yeah, as I was just trying to say, if you ended up not getting drafted, do not feel bad. There's going to be so many opportunities to show off, to impress a team enough to get picked up. And a lot of roster spots do happen throughout the season. A lot of free agents get picked up. A lot of players get dropped. A lot of players get traded. And don't feel bad. Always keep on playing. Always keep on trying to reaching out to captains, looking to try out for sub spots, looking to try out for starters if a captain is looking to drop their player, and just keep on gaming. That's all I have to say. Just keep on gaming, gamers.
All right, and with those words, we are going to end off tonight's or just the SDL draft. But don't go anywhere. You know, pretty soon we're gonna have the RSL draft coming up. The official start is at 4, but we'll keep you updated if we decide to start a little earlier, maybe with some of that stuff going on. So keep updated. We'll keep you updated. We'll keep you check announcements every once in a while. Make sure you're stay tuned in for the stream coming up later, as we have the RSL draft coming up soon.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Does manage to beat away.
That's gonna be Zazio.
There is one
Two
thing
chains
that will
too.
That's gonna be Argus.
he smells him out.
And a good Kraken will steal the Oni Fury!
I don't think so. Pop an O on it.
He sealed it with
He-
the national.
Steals it.
And Kappa just
Dookie's
bouncing
in trouble. The heart bomb.
He is in trouble, but good job there by Cowboy J.
No!
He can do that. But Skipper
But he
tried
can't-
to go after it.
You can't win the auto.
No tilting. You're all just pumped up, ready for game number 2. You're all talking to each other.
But this Phoenix under siege. Phoenix is at half. Jobek taken out. Sexton Kitten taken out by Turnabog.
Haley, you still don't win that fight. No.
And that means I'm leaving this emoji up that Breezy played in game 1, which I thought looked really good. I think he pilots it very well.
Yeah, 2 halves. There you go. We got those 2 brain cells. We can talk about 2 different things now. Well, we working on.
And Zero Easy Does It is going to be focused on, and we're going to see a quadra kill.
And he looks like he's gonna go down. Haley did use the ult already?
No.
The impale. He's insane.
And now, Juan's gonna be subject to the Rama ults, both on target. What a great snipe.